All right, everyone. I'm a couple minutes after 1:30, so I figure I'll get started. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I'm hoping. Great. It's nice to see so many people. Unfortunately, under the circumstances, um, I hope everyone's doing as best as they can. Um, and this will be pretty quick. I just want to give everybody an update of what we know about AP tests and AP classes over the next couple of weeks. As you know by now, we are out of school until at least May 1st. If we come back, our first day back will be May 4th. And our hope is that we're back on May 4th and, be able to finish up the year as normally as possible. However, that won't do much for the whole AP thing, considering you guys are due to take exams those first couple of weeks of May. We did meet with the teachers on Friday, and most of them are here, so they'll be able to give you some specific insight about the individual tests. I'm gonna give me 1 second. I'm just gonna share a screen here and go through a quick presentation. This you should be able to see AP College Board updates, I hope. I hope you're seeing that. So where we're at is that they have changed the format of the test to a 45-minute online free response only exam that students can take at home. Now, if we're back in May, we would be able to give you the option as to where to take it. The exam dates have not yet been released or determined by us. They'll issue those on April 3rd, and that's when we'll work to determine the best dates for the testing. But the place is going to be really open as opposed to the last few years. And as Mr. Barry would be able to tell us, we would put everybody in the same room at the same time for the same 3 hours. I think this is going to be a little bit more open than that, except it's going to only be a 45-minute exam as well. So it's a different format. There are starting to be some releases of what that exam will look like, and we'll come back to that in a second. As far as college credit, what we are hearing from the colleges, I was in touch with a couple this morning. They are still supporting the earning of credit based on the exam, and they'll accept the shortened exam for college credit, because the reality is our state's actually in better shape than some of the others. Kansas, Virginia, Florida, Vermont, they've closed for the rest of the year already. And some of them are not making stipulations for having their students and teachers working together even. So we're in better shape than some of those places. But when there's an emergency, they accept the shortened exam. So you don't have to worry about that for those of you who are counting or hoping to count on it for college credit. We're working actually with a couple other school districts on what device is best. A computer, a tablet, smartphone. We also are trying to get a sense of, different exams mean different formats may work. For example, on a math exam, we're already hearing that somebody might just want to write all the problems or the free response they get longhand, take a picture and upload it rather than trying to use some sort of net editor. That's our hope, is to get a sense of which works best and give all of you a sense of, when you take the test, which would be a best format for you. What I don't know yet, and the teachers don't know this yet either, is if you start the exam using one format and you find, well, gee, this would have been much easier to do if I had written out longhand, if you can change. I think as we get some of the practice formats in the next couple of weeks, that might be a question that gets answered for us. As far as test security, the College Board's claiming that they use a range of security tools and techniques, plagiarism detection and that sort of thing, to protect the integrity of the exam. The reality is, if there are 5 of you taking it at home at the same time, or 20 people taking it at home at the same time, I think the issue you run into is the 45 minutes. It's going to be really hard to work on things together. And they say they have digital security tools to prevent that. What those look like, we're not sure. I also don't know if there are going to be unique test questions per person. So, 20 people from the class set up to take the test, and there could be 20 different questions realistically going to it on a given day. I've seen that happen with the College Board's tests that they use for graduate school. So that's not out of the realm of possibility just yet. As far as AP Classroom, something that the College Board has, there are resources that are there being put up, and the teachers are going to start distributing those things as soon as tomorrow, with resources that'll help get you going, and looking at what things are going to look like for the exam, and what the review will look like in the next couple of weeks. And there's also going to be some mock exams that they have told us are going to be administered. That'll also give you a sense of what the test looks like. So here's the plan. Because I think what everybody's wondering is, well, if the test is different and the course is different and some of the content is different, why would I even take the test? And am I still going to get credit for the class? And all these other things that people are wondering. What we want is, over the next maybe 3 weeks, is to continue to keep you engaged by the class right up toward the day of the exam, as to the biggest difference between what it would have been and what you were preparing for and what it is right now, because we want you to be in a position to be successful. None of your teachers want you to take a test that you're not prepared for. I don't want to put you in a position where you're taking a test that you're not prepared for. But we're not ready to make that decision just yet. There are a couple of places where the exam is very different potentially from what we may have covered. The College Board took kind of a line of best fit approach and said, hey, are we gonna, what should most people have covered by the end of March? And this is what we think that class ought to have looked like. And if that class is going to be significantly different, we wouldn't certainly not want to have you take an exam that you're not prepared to do well on. But we can make that decision later in April. And I will share with you that the statement that is in the handbook about, if you don't take the exam, do you get the AP credit? Well, that's something we may have to be flexible with as well. But let's not make that decision today for something that might not be offered until the 3rd week of May, especially if we come back to school on May 3rd and 4th, or May 4th and 5th. I am going to end this because I saw a bunch of chat questions coming up. Just give me 1 second. I'm still a Zoom novice here. And questions. If you haven't paid for the exam yet, so that's a good question, and that was one that I had to bring up. And we have to work on. Mr. Barry had asked me of this the other day. We have to work on a solution that would allow you to pay for it online and process a paycheck. By the same token, if you have paid for the exam and you end up not taking it, there's a process for getting that refunded. So I would expect us to have more specific guidance on that in the next, I would say, 3 or 4 days. I have to work that out with the business office. Mr. Barry, I'm going to unmute you for a second because I know you asked that question. I did talk about it with the business office. It's just a matter of people, kind of like when you pay your fee for athletics, it goes to one particular account. We have to make sure it goes to the right places. So I don't know if you've gotten anything different on that, Mr. Barry.
Yeah, just whatever system that we put in place, we'll have to just, let each student know what the balance is on their account per se. I do have a running total of everything kids have possibly paid already. There are some students who've already paid for them all, and some not at all. So I'll just have to kind of communicate that out to each individual person in some way, and then send them the link or whatever we decide for them to pay for the test.
The other thing that, thanks, Mr. Barry. The other thing that has come up is just as we make the transition from, we've been providing some resources that are, there to keep you connected, but starting next week, we're going to be providing things that are going to be required for students to do. And teachers who are in AP classes, we don't want them to waste another week of waiting. And essentially that's what it is. So your teachers in AP classes, again, as soon as tomorrow or Wednesday, maybe sending you some material that is either related to the new test, related to things that you would have covered ordinarily at this time of year, related to things that would have been covered in the next couple of weeks as well. Again, for this week, things still do not necessarily count, meaning if students choose not to do things between now and Friday, you're still held held without any kind of penalty or anything. But for the rest of starting next week, actually, things start to count again. And so as things start to count and things start to count for you for handing things in to get credit, we are giving AP a little bit of a head start because your exam is going to come the beginning of May regardless. I will tell you that there are a couple of other schools that I'm working with this on, specifically because we don't want students to have to take 2 in one day, even if they are only 45 minutes. We want to be able to stagger them across those couple of weeks. And we want to make sure, again, that you have as much time as you have to make a good decision on, not only whether or not to take the test, but on from the teacher's perspective, that the test, in fact, is something that you're ready to be successful on. I've heard some good feedback from some of the other teachers that have already started. I'm looking at schools are getting set schedules. Yes, we're going to get a set schedule, hopefully within a couple of days, and that will start next week with when classes will actually be in session and virtual and what those responsibilities are going to be. We are rolling that out possibly as soon as Wednesday, maybe Thursday, and the hope would be for us to do it in about a 3-week window here and there. And then after 2 or 3 weeks, make another decision as to whether we need to adjust it again. As far as possible dates, we are told, I'm just leaning forward to my calendar, we have been told that they will begin the week of May 4th and continue till the 22nd. In what they were before is the 3rd through the 15th. The last guidance I had was that each test would be given 2 dates between the 3rd and the 22nd. In talking to the teachers the other day, and a few of them are on this, they can give me a thumbs up if they agree. We had talked about pushing it out actually to the second part of that window, because the window starts on May 4th, which is the day we come back to school. The window ends on May 22nd. If we're able to get back for a couple of weeks, we would push to the end of that to give you some actual face time in class for that first week or so before we get back and take the test. So My guess is it's going to be a 2-day window, again, starting May 4th or 5th and ending May 22nd, which is a Friday. The old window, I think our last test was actually on the 15th. So I'm hopeful that that'll work out. As far as can you take it whenever you want, or does the whole class have to take it together? I think you'll be given a date. For example, the AP Stats test will be given on such and such a day, and such and such and you'll have a 45-minute window during that day to take it. And whenever you start the test, your 45 minutes would start. So I think it actually, I was talking about this with a couple of teachers. I actually think this sets us up better. If you're not a morning person, you can get up and take the test in the afternoon. And if you are a morning person, you can get up and take it at the same time. As far as a schedule and classes starting, you will not have overlapping virtual classes. We've worked that out. I know there's a lot of angst out there. We have, just to give you guys a sense, because I can see there's some tension about that. What's going to happen is on Mondays, teachers are going to post assignments that'll be due for the following Friday. There'll be a couple of teachers that have already said they would like to give things over a 2-week window. Each block will have a predetermined 45-minute period on Tuesday or Wednesday during which it would meet. So for example, your A block class would be on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Your B block class would be at 10, and it would be for about 40 or 45 minutes. And the grading is going to be done in a much more pass-fail, standard-based kind of way than A, B, C, D. Again, if we're back on May 4th, we'll have an opportunity to go back and reset things and look at grades. But for these 3 weeks, it's going to be more done on and we have to talk about this as a staff. So I think that we're looking at things in a certainly less formal way than A, B, C, D, and F. You'll get those schedules and what it looks like. Again, I'm hoping by Wednesday of this week, possibly Thursday. And yeah, Rob, if you're working, you'd still be able to work. And that'll be for all classes, every single class. See, jump the question there. So AP classes, the teachers may start giving material now. The rest of the school will be releasing next week, and you guys are kind of getting a preview of coming attractions because it's coming, and there'll be some responsibility for people to hand some things in on a week-to-week basis. We are not going to have one-to-one time, meaning you're in school all day sitting at a computer from 8 to 3. It realistically is going to be about 45 minutes per week per class that the teachers will have online time, and the rest of it is going to be time that's either going to be done independently or in consultation. There may be some teachers that'll set up additionally. There may be some teachers who will set up additional time windows, where they'll have office hours and things to work on some things with you, especially in the AP realm. But I have a feeling like we're not expecting this to be, again, 8 to 3 every day sitting in front of a computer is just not realistic and is not going to happen. And we are going to make everything fairly universal. It's too complicated right now to have each teacher doing things in a singular form. So we're going to be trying to standardize things as best we can. And again, going back to AP, standardizing the message of it's business as usual now. Let's see where we are for the last, the next few weeks. And for those of us who are using Zoom, for example, right now, I'm recording this meeting. Teachers who use this and Google Meet will be able to record the session, whatever. I'm going to record this, upload it to a YouTube channel. So those who want to see the questions, I'm going to take this chat and turn that into if I can, turn the chat into a Q&A document so that we can do our best to minimally get all the information to everybody as best we can. At least that's our hope. So I don't have a ton of like individual information on what each teacher is going to be doing quite yet, nor do I even have a sense of what each individual AP test is going to be looking like as of yet. But we're hopeful that after the next couple of days, and as your teachers start to get in touch with you, that'll start to come into a little bit more clarity. I just have, I'm in a tile view, so I have a gallery view, so I could see pretty much everybody. But any of the teachers want to add anything that, let me see if I can go around and unmute the teachers out there and see if there's anything they want to add. I see Ms. Bouchard. I saw Mr. Loy. I saw Miss Pryor, Mr. Barry, Miss Larkin, Mr. Warden, Mr. Silbor, Mr. Bernard. I miss anybody? I don't think I did. Oh, Miss Gilmet, you're waving frantically. Anything that any of you guys want to add on before I? Oh, there's Miss Moran. She's here too. That I can that I might have forgotten or that you wanted to add before we're done here.
Just for my kids, Mrs. Gilmet, I posted a PowerPoint in terms of resources, and there were 2 rhetorical analysis prompts with some exemplars. So when we get together, you should be prepared to address one of those. We'll start out with the Margaret Thatcher one.
I'll go. So AP Chem, you guys know I've already sent out some stuff. Look, can you hear me?
No.
I'm muted. Can you guys hear me okay?
Now.
You're in and out. Probably type
Someone
it.
else go. I'll send a message.
Hey, Push students, just make sure you follow me on Twitter. I post a lot of review material on there, but I will be in touch with you individually this week. I miss you all.
AP Gov, I don't know if you guys are looking at this at the AP Classroom at all, but I've noticed that there's a some kind of security browser lockdown that I'm not sure if you guys can see the practice quizzes I put on there or not, so I have to figure that out. I'm hoping that you're not locked out. If you are, then that's going to be a problem we have to figure out. But I've seen it, I'm aware of it, and we'll try to figure it out.
That's for AP Calc. Go ahead, Sheila.
Okay. AP Lit, I'll be posting on Classroom, so just pay attention to that, and that's where all the information will be.
AP Calc, I posted some stuff this morning. You should be working on that.
AP Bio. Hello, you guys. I miss you guys. Check into Google Classroom. I just posted a lab that a lot of you who had me for honors biology will recognize it. I will get back to you as a time that we can meet to discuss how to use the chi-square test on it. So we'll keep looking at Google Classroom, and I miss you guys.
AP Physics, I've already posted the initial review for all the stuff since last week, but also to remind everyone that College Board does post their online lessons on their YouTube channel as well. And I've seen some of them for my class, and they're really good, and I know who the person is presenting. So that is another good resource if you need to review or look up some of the information in your individual AP classes.
Any other questions that anybody, yes, Mr. Lloyd, we're all impressed by your X-Wing. That's awesome. I will say it's nice to see everybody. This has been hard. Seniors, those of you who are seniors, we're going to try and schedule something for Wednesday. I'll do my best to get that out in the next couple of days. My Wednesday morning just got completely slammed, so I was going to try and do it Wednesday morning. I'm not sure if I'm still going to be able to, but we're trying to work some things out for your class, especially trying to get through the rest of this year and get you some things that would be part of your normal year. Oh, sorry, Mr. Silboy, you're lighting up on my screen here. Did we not hear from you?
Oh, you did.
Okay, I couldn't remember. You just got a big yellow box around Mr. Silboy, so I was like, oh, he must have something to say. Oop. Well, now it's around me, so it keeps popping. I'm still new to this whole Zoom thing, so we miss you guys. Hopefully, we'll see you again real soon. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay isolated as hard but stay connected at the same time, and we'll do our best to keep you informed as we go. Thanks for popping in, and anybody who wasn't here, you can tell them I'll get this up with some Q&As in the next day or so. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Everybody. Bye, everyone.